Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Getting Started Musky Fishing. Today I'm going to be talking about line, leader, and basic terminal tackle. If you didn't watch the last video, I dived into all of the factors you should be considering when you're looking around for a musky rod and reel. If you're interested in checking that video out, I'll have the link in the description, but we're going to cover the very basics of line, leader, and terminal tackle. And this is all very straightforward. I'm going to start off with line here. This is pretty much just a one and done thing, but 100-pound braid is your best option. I don't care what anybody else says. If you use 80 pound, if you use 65 pound, at some point you're bound to snap off a lure on a backlash. 100-pound test is going to give you the best chance at ensuring that you don't lose any of your expensive musky baits. As far as a specific kind, Quarterly Master Braid is a good option, otherwise Standard Power Pro. I wouldn't really recommend Suffix. I've not heard the best about Suffix, and I haven't really had the greatest experience with Suffix. For the sake of this video though, 100-pound Power Pro or Quarterly Master Braid is your best option for line. Moving on to leaders, this is kind of where it gets a little bit more advanced, and there is a great video by Doug Wagner Fishing, which I'll have in the description below, but he dives into all of the advanced things that you want to be considering when you're looking around for leaders. He talks about different leader types, how they affect different musky lures. The long and short of it though is different leader types, different leader styles will affect the way that your musky baits function. So I'm going to kind of go over the very basics of that. There's kind of three main types of musky leaders you're going to see on the market. There's fluorocarbon, solid wire, strand wire. Fluorocarbon, I'm running that for my pull pause baits. Strand wire is kind of like my all-purpose. I can do everything equally well with that. Solid wire is going to be great for bucktails, topwater, and jerk baits. Now, if you plan on fishing a lot of jerk baits, you want a solid wire leader without a ball bearing swivel on top. This one's by Stealth Tackle. This is going to give you the best action out of your walk the dog baits. It gives you a very direct contact with that leader and the bait. So the reason why I recommend using a wire leader for a bucktail is it boosts vibration. This is something that Doug mentions in his videos, and this is a noticeable difference if you fish a fluorocarbon leader and switch to a wire leader and throw a bucktail. You're going to feel that vibration pick up a lot more. Wire is also the lightest type of these leaders, which sounds a little weird to think about, but it is true. So when you're running the topwater bait, a wire leader is going to run your topwater bait the best. It's going to have it with its head up. If you run a fluorocarbon leader, you're going to notice that your topwater bait kind of has like a sinking head first kind of motion to it. So a wire leader is going to perform topwater baits much better. But like I said, if you're looking for one leader that kind of does everything well, I'm going to recommend a 49 strand 12-inch Stealth Tackle leader. This is always what I've started off with, and it runs everything pretty much equally well. A lot of people are going to probably tell you fluorocarbon, but for the sake of versatility, I'm going to go with a 49 strand wire leader by Stealth Tackle. And like I mentioned, Doug has a very great video, so if you're interested in learning more about it, then he does a very good job at talking about all of the different leader types out there. So link for that in the description below. And finally, as a closer with leaders here, if you plan on using stay lock snaps on your leaders, which most leaders have stay lock snaps, I always recommend that you buy extra snaps, because over time these snaps will fatigue, they'll lose their finish, and that's a sign of weakness. Having extra snaps, if you ever notice your finish start to dull out on your snaps, change them out. Another good option around that is to run split rings. This is something that Doug does mention in his video as well, but make sure that you maintain your terminal tackle. And finally, lastly, is just kind of a last hoorah here. Carrying extra hardware for your musky baits, whether it be hooks, split rings, all of that is very important. We've all been there where we've had to cut hooks on a fish, so having the proper replacement gear for that is a must. If you plan on musky fishing at all, you will run into a time where you need to cut hooks on a musky lure, and it's better to have extras than to go and scavenge hooks off other musky baits that you might want to use later in the day. So, and finally, this is something I will talk about in the next video, but a good hook file is very important. Keeping your hook sharp is a big factor. Believe it or not, sharp hooks will catch you more fish. But I think I've rambled on enough here, so if you have any questions, like I said, leave them below, and I'll do my best to answer them, and I'll see you guys next time to talk about the proper tools that you need for musky fishing.